To our discussion for technology and our perception of the world. Today we're going to be talking about a website called Sheridan Trafalgar Road Campus Tour, and we're going to be exploring what is virtual reality and how is it different from augmented reality. So let's begin with virtual reality. Virtual reality is a fully immersive experience that creates a virtual world. This world may not exist in the real world, but it's designed to be believable, interactive, and experiential. Users can explore this environment by moving their heads, looking around 360 degrees, and interacting with virtual objects. According to Riles 2023, virtual reality is generated by a computer and allows users to experience environments as if they were physically there, even though the environment may not be entirely fictional. O'Boyle mentions that virtual reality can be categorized into different types, for example, fully immersive, non-immersive, collaborative, and what we will be looking at today is web-based. In virtual reality, you can turn your head, the virtual world moves with you, creating a continuous illusion that you are physically in that space. So, in other words, virtual reality can make you feel like you are truly present in a different world. Now, let's move on to augmented reality, or AR. Augmented reality is often confused with VR but it's actually quite different. Unlike VR, which transports you into a completely different virtual world, augmented reality simply enhances your perception of the real world by adding virtual elements. So Riles here explains that AR overlays digital images, sounds, or information onto the real world. So instead of creating a completely new environment or virtual environment, augmented reality integrates virtual content into what you already know and see. And according to the Gartner glossary, AR uses real-time data like text, graphics, or audio and integrates them into your real-world objects, providing value to your interactions with the physical world. What makes this distinct from VR is that AR interacts with your real world surroundings, whereas VR creates a simulated experience completely separate from your own reality. So let's go ahead and try it out. Alright, let's dive into the website and explore the VR features. Navigating through the site is pretty straightforward and everything is clearly laid out. Once you start, you'll notice that there are clear commands guiding you on what to do next. Whether it's clicking to go to the next location, clicking for more information, or interacting with different parts of the virtual campus. As you move through the website, you'll be presented with different spaces in the campus. You can see everything around you and it feels pretty immersive. What's also great is that you can also click on certain spaces and you'll be prompted to additional information. For example, in the tutoring center, which we will go to next, there's a little bit more detail on ESL tutoring, which I think is pretty cool. And in the bookstore, there will be helpful information and video, actually, on how to obtain your Student One card. These little details really bring the campus experience to life. One thing I do really like about this is that as a commuter, it gave me the experience I would expect from an in-person campus tour. It felt like I was walking through the campus with a guide, except in this case, the guide was a website. I also really like the accessibility option. You can adjust things like brightness and other visual settings like this, which make the experience more comfortable, especially if you're spending a bit of time on the website. Plus, it's very beginner-friendly. There's no overwhelming information. But that being said, there are a couple things that I didn't love like this. One issue that I had with the auto-rotating feature, I felt pretty dizzy using it, which, as Trescott 2019 points out, is a common problem with VR. It's something to keep in mind if you're prone to motion sickness or eye strain. Also, while the tour does a great job on showing you different locations, some of the spaces I visited were places I've never actually been on campus. The site doesn't offer very clear directions on where to find these spaces. It's great that you can explore them, but there's not much help in navigating the physical campus once you're done with the tour. It only gives you the building names, but no way to know exactly where the buildings are or how to get there. As for improvements, I think one way to help with navigation would be to integrate a small campus map into the website. That would show where the locations are within the campus. Sheridan already has an app, Sheridan Alert, which includes a detailed campus map with building names and floor plans, but without the immersive VR feature. It would be fantastic if the VR tour would somehow incorporate elements from the Sheridan Alert map. Maybe by pinpointing the exact location on the map while you're exploring virtually. This way you could get both the immersive experience and more accurate sense of where things are located on the map. I definitely see a future for this website. It has a lot of potential, and as a future software developer, I'd love to contribute to its development. One major improvement I can imagine would be adding in movement, similar to how Google Maps allows you to walk through streets. This would allow users to move through the campus in a more comprehensive way, rather than just turning around in a fixed spot. It would also be really cool if there was a virtual guide, maybe even a Sheridan mascot or a virtual student, to guide the users through the experience and give them information audibly, like speaking it out loud. I think it's interesting how they're talking about virtual reality and exploring virtual reality, which is what we're doing right now. Anyway. So, is this a good example of virtual reality? I do believe that based on our earlier definitions, this website is an excellent example of virtual reality. And here's why. The tour is experienced virtually, meaning that it exists in a digital simulation rather than interacting with real-world elements. You can look around at a 360-degree angle, which is a key feature of virtual reality, providing an immersive experience. You can interact with the virtual environment by clicking buttons, exploring different areas, discovering new information along the way. The tour is a collaborative and web-based, meaning that you can access it online and experience it with others. While the experience is immersive, it's definitely not entirely realistic. For example, you stay in one fixed spot in each area rather than being able to move freely, which reduces the sense of true immersion. Finally, since the tour is not integrating real-time information or adding value to the real world, it is not classified as augmented reality. Remember that augmented reality would involve the integration of digital elements into your real-world surroundings in real time, which is not the case here. So this is definitely a really good example of virtual reality, not augmented reality. Would I recommend this website? Yes, I would. So I would highly recommend this website. I've personally recommended it to some of my friends who are also first-year students at Sheridan who are unfamiliar with the campus like me. It's a great tool for exploring the campus virtually, especially if you're unable to visit it in person. Not only does it give you a good sense of campus layout, but it also allows you to explore different areas thoroughly. Whether it's Trafalgar Road or any other Sheridan campus, you might definitely discover something new about the campus that you didn't know before. For those who are interested in trying out the virtual tour, here's a link to the website where you can explore the campus and dive into the the world of virtual reality. Thank you so much for joining me in this exploration of virtual reality and augmented reality and how these technologies impact our understanding of the world. I hope you found this tour enjoyable and informative. If you have any questions or thoughts, definitely leave them in the reply for this discussion. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your exploration, and thank you again for your attention. Take care.